tactical nature of reality, that the real secret of magic is that the world is made of words, and that if you know the words that the world is made of, you can make of it whatever you wish. The real nub of what we're trying to get at here is that the world is mental in some way that we do not yet understand, but that which we're edging toward. That what we really are is a community of mind knitted together by codes and symbols, intuitions, aspirations, histories, hopes, the invisible world of the human experience is far more real to us than the visible world, which is little more than a kind of screen or stage upon which we move. Eventually emerges as a very prescient insight. Everything is code. Everything is code in the sense that hackers mean when they say they write code. And this realization that everything is code, and code moving on many levels, is, I think, a further... It's more primary than the perception, for example, that things are made of space-time, matter, and energy. That's one level below code. The code codes for space-time, matter, and energy. It's much more like we're in a simulacrum, some kind of machine environment. And in fact, I like that idea because I've always sensed, and psychedelics have always intensified this intuition in me, that the universe is a puzzle. Life is a problem to be solved. It's a conundrum. It's not what it appears to be. There are doors. There are locks and keys. There are levels. And if you get it right, somehow it will give way to something extremely unexpected. What people are saying, I think, and what the psychedelic experience argues for as well, is that we are somehow prisoners of language. And that somehow, if we're prisoners of language, then the key which will set us loose is somehow also made of language. What else could fit the lock? So somehow an act of poetic legerdemain is necessary. And the purpose of literature, I think, is to illuminate the past and to give a certain guidance as we move into the future. So the world is made of language. I can't say that enough. Whenever we get into these discussions about reality or effects in space and time, we are operating outside this assumption that the world is made of language. If the world is made of language, it's very hard to figure out just where the edge of it is. I mean, do we really need to believe in the existence of distant galaxies like NGC 245 if, in fact, the world is being produced in the human cerebellum as a phenomenon of language? What exactly is the ontological status of these distant parts of the universe that register only as the faint tracings on our instruments, then interpreted through the fishy fiat of a bunch of stacked up theories and formulas? I mean, did you know that the entire universe of radio telescopy, radio telescopes were invented around 1950. They've been used to build up our entire picture of the universe. Did you know that if you took all the energy that has fallen on all the radio telescopes on this planet since the invention of radio telescopy, that it would be less energy than is generated by a cigarette ash falling a distance of 2 feet? So that's where your data sample is coming from, that you've built up this model of exploding galaxies and colliding quasars and mega this and mega that. I mean, it's pretty flimsy stuff, folks, compared to the meat of the moment in which we find ourselves. Now, magical philosophies, which have about 50 to 100,000 years under their belt, as opposed to science, which goes back to the Renaissance, magical philosophies have always claimed that the world is made of language, that the world is a thing of words. And if you know these words, you can take it apart and put it together any old way you wish. So we need to dissolve our cultural conditioning and try to get down to brass tacks, because I'm convinced that reality is a tinker toy set that we can learn to take apart and put together in completely different ways. And we're going to have to pull some real rabbits out of the hat, or the planet is just going to pour over the edge into chaos.